What is up, everybody? Welcome back for another mock draft. We're going to do some chaos. So, as we get closer to the draft, we're going to kind of have a bunch of chaos and kind of get more realistic things. And to kind of kick off the chaos, we're going to accept every trade the CPU turns our way. If we have multiple trades, we have to accept one of the trades that come our way. So, we got this mock draft pulled up here. I just like the bottom half team. It's a good mix of high draft picks and middle of the road and late draft picks. I thought it'd be kind of interesting to do that way and just see what the CPU throws at us and just kind of see what trades and what players are moved up for and just kind of get some chaos to cut off the draft week going on here. So before too much, let's just hop into it and kind of see what happens here. So we do have the first overall pick here, the Tennessee Titans, and immediately get a trade. And this is a king's ransom of trades here. Number two, second round pick, third round pick, fourth round pick, second from next year. Like I said, we're gonna accept that. We're gonna accept one trade for each one we got here. So we're gonna accept this trade and see who the Browns come up for. They do come up for Cam Ward. So that puts Titans in a spot. They need a quarterback. But what if that quarterback's gone now? In this hypothetical situation, what would they do? They have Will Levis. And I think if this situation arises, they had him a 2 pick over a 1 pick. You look at the edge, and you lost Harold Landry. You need to replace some production on the defense. You go defense on Bill Carter, or you can make the argument you really lack weapons. They've kind of been on this downward spiral ever since they lost AJ Brown, to the Eagles. Both make a lot of sense. I think you get the more dynamic franchise player, what they've mentioned before in press conferences. They're not going to skip on a generational player. I think Travis Hunter is that generational player. So I think with the number 2 pick, I think it maybe happen in real life as well. Number 2 pick here, I think the teams just switched. But the Tennessee Titans take Travis Hunter, number 2. Number 3, it's wild to continue. The Giants have a couple different offers here. One from the Cardinals, going back to 16, getting a second round pick. So probably a 5th round pick and a 2nd round pick next year. We'll go back to 17. It's not quite as good of an offer. They're throwing in an extra pick here, so you get an extra 3rd round pick this year. But I look at also the 2nd round pick here. I think it's even more valuable, the Cardinals 2nd round pick compared to the Bengals 2nd round pick. I think the Bengals will be a lot better this year than they were last year. I think if the Giants look at it, like, okay, I get a later round pick this year, but I get a higher pick next year. Let's go ahead and take the higher pick next year on that. So the Cardinals are moving up from 16 to 3. Huge jump up. I don't think that's enough to make that trade in real life, but we'll mock drafting. Let me see what happens here. And they come up and give Joel Carter. We have a lot of teams jumping up here for premier players. So the Patriots have 4, another trade offer, a couple trade offers here. The Falcons moving up, so first round pick here, 2nd round, 2nd, 3rd, 5th of next year. A lot of picks there. Not nearly as good of an offer. So I think this is a pretty easy one to accept for the Falcons. So let's see who the Falcons come up and get though. This is interesting. The premier players are gone. Not going to take a quarterback. So who are they moving all the way up for? This should be very telling for them. They come get Will Johnson. That's interesting. Getting that corner who, in probably in real life, he's still there possibly at corner in that position. So this should be a no-brainer here. The Vegas Raiders, who are projected to get Ashton Jetty, the Cowboys are wanting to trade out. Let's see if they come up with the same player. So we'll accept this trade here. No, they go tackle. That is a little bit wild. You think they would come up for Ashton Jeanty? They don't. They come up for the tackle instead. That's interesting. The Bengals want to trade up quite a bit. So we have the Bengals trading up, giving me a 2nd this year and a 4th next year. It's the only offer we have, so we're going to accept that. They come up for Mason Graham, who fell because Jacksonville traded out. This would be a very easy pick this point, I don't think this would happen, but the Saints move back one pick and get a second round next year. I think the Bears are overpaying here for sure. Let's see who the Bears are trying to leapfrog the Saints for. Could it be Ashton Jeanty here? And it is. I think the Bears do want Ashton Jeanty quite a bit, so it makes sense that they want to leapfrog whoever else does. Do you think the Cowboys will be the one they're trying to get ahead of for them coming up? The Cowboys already moved up at the tackle over the running back, which is quite interesting. A huge jump up here. I think I know who this is before, but the Saints are going to move back to 26. Get a third-round pick, a fourth-round pick, a second, and a third next year. Who are the Rams you trying to go for? They could move up for a quarterback. There's talks about trading Stafford this year, so we're looking to get a franchise quarterback to help kind of be a backup plan for him. No, I love the aggressiveness for Tyler Warren there. It's a fantastic pick for the Rams. I think they need those weapons on the receiving core behind just Puka Nacua, and getting at Tyler Warren is big. And the Lions are trying to make a huge trade up here. Wow. Giving up quite a bit of capital. Who are the Lions looking to come and get? That's interesting. Mike Green. They moved all the way up to get Mike Green, who in many mock drafts, I think because probably the third best pass rusher, and many mock drafts he's falling to the mid to the late round. For them, the Lions found their guy and got their guy. You see the Lions do they find a Lions guy, they move up for him. And if in this situation the Lions think Mike Green's that guy, so they make the move. The Raiders moving back again. We may have just no picks here to make because the CVU keeps trading up. The Packers are moving up there. They come for Shamir. So again, another player who you would think would maybe be in that middle to late first round pick. Teams are jumping quite a bit up forward to get him. Now we have the Bears moving back into the first round for the Dolphins. Kick the Dolphins out of the first round. Someone's moving out of the first round. No draft NFL history is every team drafted in the first round, so someone's moving back. In this situation, the Dolphins are the first one to move back, and the Bears are coming back up. With this pick 39-41 for the Bears, that gives them a lot of ammunition to do a lot of stuff in the draft to move back in. If they find a player that's dropping, they could definitely do that. Reserve capital from next year. I'm not saying they can move all up to 13, but I think they can move back and delay the first round pick and get a quality top player for them with both these high second round picks. Let's see who they have coming up to get though. Kelvin Banks. Okay. Kelvin Banks moving up. I think way overdrafted here in this situation, but that's what they want to do there. The Broncos also trade up here. The Patriots have a couple offers here. I think the Patriots want to stay in the first round. They lost the number 4 pick. They want to stay in the first round. So moving back 5 spots wouldn't be terrible. And the Colts get Shedeur Sanders. I don't hate that. Anthony Richardson, not really sure what they are. You signed Daniel Jones. So those really long-term commitments to those guys. I think bringing in a guy who can compete, be the backup and then compete for that first round starting job could definitely be an option here. The Giants, the Jaguars want to move back up, giving up 2 first-round picks, the 2/3 looks like as well. All right, who are the Jaguars coming up for? Colston Loveland. We have no picks in this draft at all, are we? The Bills moving up for Malachi Starks. I love Malachi Starks. He'd be awesome with the Bills. Give him some dimension to the defense. Would be great. So let's review some of these picks here. So many back-to-back trades here. We didn't see the Matthew Golden trade. So the Broncos came for Matthew Golden. Love the pick. Matthew Golden's a great receiver. Does a lot of things really, really well. The complement Cortland Sutton would make a lot of sense for him to get a receiver. I think he would fall to them probably at 20. I'm not really seeing him mocked super high in that first round. So they probably could have picked and stick there. But they wouldn't have made the jump up to get Matthew Golden. So the Seahawks here, I think the Seahawks are looking at offensive line here for sure. But who's left on the board? Anyone really still? Jalen Walker is still on the board. But I think they need an offensive lineman. I think Booker or Zabel could be the guy. Zabel gives a little more flexibility. I'm gonna give him Zabel. Keep him in the Northwest. Give him good position flexibility there. So Greg Zabel will be that guy. No trades for 2 picks in a row. Crazy. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a good landing spot for Jalen Walker. I think I've been on this for a while. They get that second middle linebacker, that 3-4 defense can really help them out. Also, I do like Nick Imawurie. I butchered that name. I will every single time. That's on me. Could be interesting as well. Mikael Williams in Georgia. I think adding another dimension of the defense with a middle linebacker, I really like that. They did it with Devin White a few years ago. He's on with a team. I think Jalen Walker is probably more talented than Devin White, so we'll give them Jalen Walker. I think Jalen Walker, he's projected super, super high. I've seen him in the top, 3 or 4 in mock drafts. So for him to fall to 19, the talent just is so good there. You have to take him. For in a position of need as well. Now the Patriots, they dropped back a couple times, but I think there's still really good players here that they can grab, like a Mikael Williams at edge. But I think you get that you really want to get that dynamic safety. I like, but I don't think they're going to go there. Tyler Booker is he's going to set the tone for the offensive line, just pound and pound run the ball. So I like that a lot. I also like Jahad Barron, gets more depth at secondary, help Christian Gonzalez out. But I think Barron wants to pound the ball. He did that in Tennessee with Derrick Henry. He pounded the ball. Not I want to say great offensive lineman, but I think good enough players there. I think you add another offensive lineman here, in Booker would be the guy to help. Actually, I think I'll give him off. I think I'm gonna give him tackle. I think Josh Simmons a tackle. Give that right tackle. Build that up quite a bit. Help them out. Would be the pick there. Help Drake May out more with a tackle than a will guard. So we give him Drake May. The Steelers here. There's a lot of good players the Steelers can go here. A lot of positions. I've been really high on Derek Harmon and Kenneth Walker has been my pick there many times. Kenneth Walker looks like he's gone. Oh, he tackle. Kenneth Walker is still there. But I think there's some more different. I'm going to mix up a little bit here. This is going to be a chaotic draft. I really could see this happening. If Jahad Barron's there and maybe some of these D tackles fall off the board, I think Jahad Barron will be the pick for the Steelers. I think it's a great fit. Can do a lot of different things. What's the long-term future of Minkah Fitzpatrick? I'm not sure. Jahad Barron can play nickel, eventually move back to safety. It gives you a lot of flexibility on your offense, on your defense, to do a lot of cool things. So Jahad Barron will be the pick here for the Steelers. Kind of a surprise pick for me if you watch the other mock drafts. I've always gone D tackle. I think that Barron would be a great pick though for them. The Chargers. I think the Chargers would love to get Colson Loveland, who went earlier. Didn't fault him there, but there's a lot of good D tackles here, which is a position of need for them. It's if they want to go with a Derek Harmon or a Walter Nolan, who's their favorite guy. I think they're very comparable in positions there. I actually like Walter Nolan a lot. I think I like him more than Derek Harmon for the Chargers. 6'3", 296. Derek Harmon is 6'4", 313. I'm gonna give them Walter Nolan. May seem like a reach here, but I think Walter Nolan in that Chargers defense would be really, really fun to watch. Seems like the trades have slowed down a little bit after tons and tons of trades up here. So the Raiders, I think they've still got a running back here with the second running back still here. I think Marion Hampton still gives you a bell cow running back, which is what they need. More than like a Mecca Buka is more of a complimentary wide receiver rather than being like the guy. So I think you get the guy in a position, you get that guy's Marion Hampton there. The Vikings, I'm falling in love with this player for this team. Nick Imawurie at safety. I'm sticking with that pick and giving them this. yeah, we'll stick with the safety from South Carolina going to the Vikings. The Texans go Tyler Booker. It makes a ton of sense. They need offensive line help. They could go guard or tackle there, but I think Booker is the higher rated player there in that position. Now the Saints. They traded back. They got a lot of stuff there. They got the extra second round pick. Quite a few trades here they got. So they stockpile. They got 3 second round picks next year, third round pick, a bunch of seconds and stuff like that. So the Saints made a lot of trades back here. Just who they are. I think they're still good players here. I think there's a lot of starting caliber players on this draft. Not so many superstars, but starting caliber players. They can make a little movement back. Because if teams are willing to move up, will be the question. There's 5 or 6 guys that are really superstar guys, top rated guys in the draft. A lot of solid guys. So once those 5 go, our teams will make willing to give the compensation to make those big jumps up. Here, they could go edge. I really like the idea of them going wide receiver to help out that offense. I think with Derek Carr being questionable, to give him more weapons for Spencer Rattler or quarterback later in the draft. Him still being there, Emeka Egbuka, or Jackson Dart. Just realizing he's still there. The Saints going to need a quarterback for Derek Carr either this year or next year to replace him. Jackson Dart is a Kellen Moore type of quarterback. Mobile, big, not the biggest arm, but can make good deep throws. Jackson Dart falls to 26. I think that would be crazy, and that'd be a great fit for the Saints to get their guy at 26. All this extra capital they would love to take, maybe even at the initial position at 9. So we'll do Jackson Dart. The Ravens take Derek Harmon, just stacking the lineup here. The San Francisco 49ers, I think go defense and then go corner, and I like Maxwell Harrison quite a bit as a cover safety, but a lot of good D tackles on here, and get a penetrator like a Kenneth Grant. I'm talking more a run blocker like Kenneth Grant, kind of replaced Javon Hargrave who they lost. Was really interesting there. So I like that quite a bit. Jahan Campbell, linebacker, though, replaced Drew Greenlaw would be big. I don't think any guards left they were taking. So I'm going to stick with defense. I think they replace Drew Greenlaw, and Jahad Campbell is that guy who can do that for them. The Commanders here, who really slowed down on trades here, which is I didn't think I was getting any picks. And so the fact that we slowed down here with so many trades happen in the middle here, just boom, 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 trade. The Washington Commanders, Mikael Williams there at edge would be fantastic if he fell there. James Pierce, if you like the guy, the talent's there, but other stuff there may not be your cup of tea. Corner, Maxwell Harrison, Siobhan Ravel. The 2 big safeties are there, too, like Xavier Watts and Notre Dame, who could slip in. But with him still being there, Emeka Egbuka, you have Deebo Samuel now, and you have Terry McLaurin on the outside. They're around that wide receiving core. You're not sure what's left with Deebo Samuel. I'm not sure what's left in the tank. Adding another solid guy, Emeka Egbuka, could be really nice. And you want to build as much talent around Jay Daniels as you can. So I'm going to give Emeka Egbuka here and really solidify that receiving core for the Washington Commanders. The New York Jets, they moved back a couple times, I believe. They moved back twice. Lost Mason Graham, Malachi Starks. I think it's interesting the Bills moved up for Malachi Starks. He's a great player. And they moved quite a bit up for him. Up to 17. I love the play. I love the fit there. Great move by them. Still great players here for the Jets. They, missed out on the quarterback sweepstakes. They lost out on the tight ends. But still, like, Mikael Williams is still there. If you like Luther Burden, or Jalen Milroe here, it's a good spot for Milroe. I'm talking myself into that. They have Justin Fields. Miller can sit behind them, learn a little bit. They're kind of similar players, both run first kind of quarterbacks who need to develop in the pass. Miller could learn a little bit from Fields. I think Fields learned a lot last year in Pittsburgh. Didn't turn the ball over as much. Yeah, this draft is meant to be a little bit crazy. I think Jalen Milroe falling. I think he might be in the first round. He got invited to the draft. We found that out. So Jalen Milroe going to the Jets, getting a backup quarterback here. Kansas City moving back for the Bengals. Let's see who the Bengals move up for. Mikael Williams. The fact that he's still there is wild. And you can't have him go to the Eagles. So the Bengals saved and got Mikael Williams. Who was their first pick in the draft earlier? Mason. So the Bengals solidifying that defense of Mason Graham and Mikael Williams. That would be massive there for them. So the Eagles are going to take BPA. Like Nick Skouterton, James Pierce. I think you go pure raw talent. I think you have the culture there to support somebody like that. Speed rusher guy and James Pierce. So let's look at the overview of this draft. A lot of crazy things happened here. So first, we start off the bang with the Browns trading with the Titans to grab Cam Ward. Then Hunter, Abdul Carter, kind of went with what we thought. Just the teams with the Cardinals moving all the way up to get Abdul Carter, the Falcons moving Abdul Johnson, Amon Bembu staying there for the Jaguars rather than getting Mason Graham, who had been slotted so much. And then Jaguars trading back in their first round with Colson Loveland. They lost Evan Ingram, so really filling position of needs quite a bit. I think this was interesting to see what teams are really prioritizing in terms of needs. Was super interesting. Tetra McMillan, a wide receiver. The Bengals getting Mason Graham. They're coming back in to get Mikael Williams as he slid. Was super. They need help with the defense. They couldn't stop a nosebleed last year. So get two great players there would be massive for them. The Bears trade up one spot to get Genty. The Rams trade up quite a bit to get a tight end, which I think they need. Can you even name the tight end for the Rams? Just no-name guys for that slot. So get a big-time player. And he felt like they fell at 10. Made it a little more feasible, but still crazy draft capital. The Lions trade all the way up from Mikael Williams. I'm sorry, all the way up from Mike Green with, Shamir Stewart still on the board, Jalen Walker still on the board. They really made a big jump for their guy. I think he is number 3 pass rusher from that end spot. So talent-wise, it makes sense. They fell in love with the guy. They have a culture who can foster development there. Shamir Stewart, the Packers moving up. I think Shamir Stewart is a Packer type guy. So it kind of makes sense there. Maybe lack of production, but big talent, raw, who they develop. The Bears coming back in to get attacked. I mean, the 4th offensive lineman that Ben Johnson, brought in this year. Big trade up there. So they have a new running back and a new tackle. The Broncos going wide receiver, I like that. The Colts getting Shamir Stewart again. Shedeur Sanders. I'm sorry, so many SS names there. Shedeur Sanders was interesting. I like it. I'm not an Anthony Richardson guy. When you take yourself out of the game because you're tired as a quarterback and you have your D lineman and stuff running up down the field in 2-minute drills and power through it, it just soft. It comes across. But he's still young. He can still develop maybe, but I think his time with the Colts are probably over. We mentioned the Jaguars come back for Colts and Loveland. Malachi Starks I mentioned quite a bit. Love the pick. Love the Bills trading up for him. Seahawks still going with their offensive lineman, Jalen Walker, I like. As a Steelers fan, Jahan Barrett, I like the player. I think he adds a lot of versatility in there. The Raiders still get a premier running back in Marion Hampton, traded back, got a lot of extra draft capital for them, which is good. I mean, they traded back. They're getting, an extra second. Quite a few picks there add on to their draft capital. Love the Vikings with their safety. See a couple different drafts. The Saints can Jackson Dart. I think the Saints could draft Jackson Dart at their initial position at 9. So for them to get more draft capital and still get their guy quarterback, I think is fantastic. So overall, a lot of credit. The last thing here is Jalen Milroe going to Jets. The Jets aren't going to take him at their position there, but would they trade back up in the first round to get a quarterback, get that fifth-year option, add some competition there for Justin Fields? Would be interesting. So I just want to kind of do this, accept all the trades here, and just kind of see the chaos that ensued. We'll have more mock drafts. And then be more realistic as we get closer to the draft, kind of get you an idea of what we really think is going to happen. Kevin has a couple coming out with his views. Me and Kevin do some together to kind of, back and forth to kind of get some more human interaction besides the CPU, kind of what we're hearing from the sources that we listen to. But just a really great time doing this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed the chaos. What was the most chaotic thing you saw? Like, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you more mock drafts coming up.